People think it needs to be a set environment when, you know, it's anywhere we go.
Yeah.
It's any
It's a
one
grocery store. It's anywhere.
Exactly. The common places that we have the opportunities to.
Yeah.
But let the Lord use us and flow through us and perform miracles and healings and, you know, just whatever he wants to do, just show his love and however that looks. So however it looks.
And you know, I believe this, no matter what city or state you're in, the mission field's always there.
Yeah, yeah.
There's always somebody that's hurting. Something the Lord's been putting in my heart a lot lately. And I'm still praying into it. What does that look like? But he said, my people, there's many of my people that are suffering in silence. And what I believe is that it's time for those who are suffering in silence to take off the masks. There are many in the body of Christ, I believe, that feel the need to make themselves represented, that everything's all good and okay.
Yeah.
But what's happening is they're not dealing with the issues that are underlying. And I believe that right now, before the Lord can use us to the capacity that he wants to flow through his vessels, there needs to be a healing and a wholeness that is restored to the soul and the heart, so that he can flow through like a river through his vessels. And that's something he's been speaking a lot. And I know I've been on my journey. I've been...
Yes. So you're referring to believers, like receiving their
Specifically,
healing.
yeah.
Do you think there's possibly a specific reason why those in the church body, you know, may not want to open up about hurts, or why they might keep that in? Do you have like your thoughts, or has the Lord kind of shown you why they may not be so vocal about it, or, you know, feel like they have to keep it hidden?
I think a lot of it is this. I think some of it's character, right? I think some of it's character. I believe a lot of it is trust. If you don't have trust with somebody, they're not going to be vulnerable. And I think that as the body of Christ, one thing that, I mean, the way I was raised was like, you don't tell nobody nothing.
Yeah.
You got issues, you fall down, you dust yourself off, you get up, you keep going. You got issues, you pick up that rug, you sweep it under the
you
rug.
don't talk about
and
it.
that's it, you don't talk about it, right? And that is the lies that I was bound by before I truly came to know the Lord. And once I truly came to know the Lord, actually the Lord had sent me to a program. I actually had suffered with depression for over 25 years, right about 25-year mark. Depression and anxiety, couldn't sleep at night. I was on all kind of medication, just because of the stuff, the childhood I had, and then the marriage I had, and they basically told me your life's not going to change. And then now you're divorced, and now you got 4 kids. Like, none of this is going to change. Just take the medicine. You know, when I try to go back and get help, like with it, and so I believed them.
Slap a Band-Aid on it, not get to the root.
And I had PTSD. They had diagnosed me with PTSD, and so anyway, I went to this group to go get help from my son, because my son was struggling with things. He was very angry. My oldest was very angry because of the disappointments of his father, and then the things he witnessed his father do, and I won't go into all that, but he became very angry. And so to get help for him, I was referred to a group to go to. And when I walked in that room, there were like over 200 men in there. And I'm like, yeah, this is not the place for me. And I headed for the door to leave, and this lady had stopped me, and she's like, hey, how are you? Where are you going? Would you want to come sit with me? I'm like, nope. Peace out.
Don't want to be here.
There's way too many men in this place for me. And because I think a lot, the marriage I was in became extremely abusive. Extremely abusive. The whole culmination of me leaving was because my ex-husband pulled a gun on me while I was in bed.
Which explains the PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, my son was in bed asleep with me about 1 o'clock in the morning one night. He came home and pulled the gun. And so I was like, that's it. That's a wrap. That's it.
Yeah.
But, so when I walked in there, I didn't want to see no men. I'm like, But what happened is this: the Lord, by his grace and his mercy, used this sweet woman of God to come stop me, to invite me to sit with her. They brought me into this group, a smaller group, and I sat here, and I was so bound that I sat there in that room, and for the first time, I felt like I was home. they were very transparent with one another. They talked about their issues. They talked about their shortcomings. They talked about things they were learning. When they got to me and they asked me my name, I couldn't even speak my name.
Yeah.
I couldn't, because this went against everything I was taught. They're airing out their laundry. You don't do that.
Yeah.
You know? So anyway, the short of it is this: I was there 3 years. I went through the program for a year, and then I led the group. They ended up coming to me, asking me to lead the group, and so I led the group for 3 years. But about a month and a half after being there, none of the medicine was working. None of the PTSD, none of the depression, anxiety, sleep medicine, none of that was working.
So you were still on
I was
that
still on
throughout
that.
all those years.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so what happened was the counselor, the psychiatrist was like, okay, we need to pull you off. We're going to put you on something else. You're on dangerously high levels. So they pulled me off, and I struggled getting pulled off. But as they began to pull me off, I was dealing with all these withdrawal symptoms because I was on it for so long.
Right.
And she's like, well, maybe we're taking you off too quick. Let's just put you back on. I was like, well, I'm going to have to go through this. And she's like, yes. I went, mm-mm.
You might as well just.
I'm just going to stick this out. I'm going to stick this out. We're going to get through this. And guess what? At the end of probably like a month and a half, what I didn't realize is the Lord set me free.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have ministers come lay hands on me.
Right.
I didn't have nothing, that I can pinpoint it to other than I got off the medication. I sought the Lord. I went to this group of women, that basically ministered to women that were abused and had dealt with a lot of abuse. And the Lord set me free. I never got on another medication, and I've been free from it ever since.